Get over it. It's bloody hot. It's just water. It's a shower. Get over it. So discomfort is needed.
You were into partying,
Correct.
and alcohol and drugs. Remember what was the turning point?
You know that because I was in Australia, I didn't have anybody to speak to about spirituality or Shiva. My friend circle wasn't like that. Why couldn't I have met my Sadguru earlier? And like you said about being in the present, somewhere naturally just comes because you love what you do. There have been times when there was no light in the gym. There were so many times that there was no water, something or the rain dropping, with buckets all around. But people still did what they had to do.
So for people who are trying to lose weight, what are your 3 pieces of advice?
First,
Then how did you get into fitness?
My dad put me in the water when I was 5 months old. So my dad is actually from Africa. You know, he's grown up like all rough and raw. He was a wildlife photographer in Africa, and he was the one who put me in the water when I was 5 months old. And I have a nice picture of that. I'll share that with you. And I think at 5 years, I started competing in swimming. Maybe because I'm a Piscean, I just love water, a water sign. I was super, super comfortable in the water, and I started actually competing. So the first competition that I swam, I didn't have any coaching or anything. My dad every Sunday we used to go for a swim to the local gymkhana. And then I swam that competition. It was a home competition, so no outsiders. So of course the coaching, the sir who was there, my sir at that time, Subodh Danke, late Subodh Danke, he's no more. So he told my dad, why don't you put him in coaching? And Dad said, okay, fine. And I was also like, fine, because it's swimming, it's water, I love it.
How old were you?
5. So I started swimming at the age of 5, and then went on to compete. And then I swam at the national level at the age of 11, competed at nationals. So literally from Monday to Saturday, my routine used to be waking up in the morning at around 5 o'clock. Dad used to wake me up at 5. We used to catch the BST bus, head to the pool, swim some laps. Coaching used to be there. Get ready for school, go to school, come back from school, finish tuitions or whatever, again go for coaching. So morning and evening. And this happened for almost 15 years of my life, 20 years of my life. No, not 10, 12 years of my life.
How many days a week?
6 days a week.
6 days a week?
Yeah, twice. So we used to literally swim almost 10 kilometers a day. And I was really, really skinny.
That is insane.
Yeah, it was excellent. I mean, see, as kids, you don't really know anything.
Yeah.
You don't know what are you doing. For you, it's somewhere it's fun. Somewhere it was also not fun because, other kids used to be going for birthday parties and this and that, and you could not, because every Saturday, Sunday almost used to be a competition, some competition or the other. So we would all, but it was really great fun because there were a lot of kids at that time and all the parents and everyone used to kind of camp together, tent together. Everyone's got different foods and, mom used to make something, and usually all the moms used to go together. So my mom used to take me everywhere for all the competitions once in a while. So dad used to take me for the coaching in the morning. Mom used to take me to all the competitions and everything. And I think it was excellent. So that aspect of waking up early, doing something regimented for almost 10 to 12 years of my life, I think that's what kind of set the discipline. Because think about, again, nobody ever spoke to us about discipline. No one ever spoke to us about consistency, routine. Everything that we speak about today in fitness, nobody spoke to us then. It was just waking up and literally doing the same thing every single day. And if you go to see, swimming is actually one of the most boring sports.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk,
Yeah.
you can't listen to music, you can't socialize. The only time you get to say hi or whatever, have a conversation with a fellow swimmer is literally in that rest period. Yeah. And you're literally catching your breath, so you can't even do that. And you're just swimming up and down that pool, staring at that one black line on the ground. Think about it today, it is also one of the most meditative sports because your sense of hearing is blocked. Your focus is on your breath, because if breath goes out of sync, your stroke is gone. So you're continuously breathing either 3 strokes or 5 strokes. So literally it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you breathe, and it's consistent. So your focus is on your breath. And I just wish, I mean, when we're talking about it today and people, parents whose kids are into swimming or want to put, if you can just consciously tell your kid, focusing on your breath is meditative. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
If that is something that we were taught or even told when we were swimming, somewhere the mindset would have already started changing since you're 5 years old. It would have been great. So a lot of the things we did it literally as a fluke, which today the entire world is talking about. They're talking about breath work, they're talking about breath control, they're talking about consistency, about routine, about discipline, about willpower. All of this comes through sport. Some form. Don't have to compete at the national levels, don't have to compete at state levels, but putting your kid in some form of disciplined sport where they do have to take accountability of the sport, where they do have to compete for some small competition. Not just playing a sport because it's fun. Yes, it is fun, but the real benefits of the sport, all these qualities that we spoke about, literally come when there is some accountability and some competition. So I think that's where it all kind of started. And then my dad used to go to the gym, and the gym was literally so small, okay? I'm not kidding. And when I used to finish swimming, I used to wait for him. So I used to go to the gym and I used to sit in the corner and I used to see these 5, 6, that time they were like, I'm talking about like 30, 35 years back. There were only like 5 or 6 men, kind of lifting, and there were pictures of bodybuilders on the wall. And I used to look, kind of amazed. Again, didn't know what this world was, but I think, and then I'm like, oh, Dad, you got this little bicep and everything. And I think he got me this really small green colored dumbbells, metal dumbbells. And we put up the pull-up bar. Because of swimming anyways, we used to do pull-ups and we used to do a lot of ground work, ground exercise, like a lot of push-ups and everything. But weights was something that at that time we thought was not good. The myth of if you do weights too early in life, your height will stop. That's absolutely a myth. We can speak about that later. But we didn't do any weights. So our coach used to make us do a lot of groundwork, a lot of push-ups, freehand, a lot of pull-ups, all that kind of stuff. And I started doing that at home. And of course, somewhere the body starts to change. And then you're in a boys' school, so you're doing arm wrestling, and you see this little thing, little bump in the arm, and it's like, oh, yours is great. I mean, it's good stuff. So that's where it all kind of started. And then I used to remember kids used to be playing down, and I think I was 15 or 16, and I went with my dad and we got a boxing bag. And Rocky, of course, everyone's a fan of Rocky. I mean, our generation, I don't know about today's generation, but our generation absolutely loved Rocky.
Yeah.
So there was one week on HBO where all the Rockies were coming, one week after the other. So I went with my dad and we got this boxing bag, filled it up with sawdust and sand and hung it up. And every time Rocky used to come on, I used to start punching, And I really enjoyed it. And I used to do my punching, I used to do some pull-ups and, the weights and everything. And that kind of, I don't know why, but I guess because of swimming or whatever, but it just started feeling good. And I got more and more into it. I started working out in the evenings while kids used to be playing down in the building. I used to work out at home and, freehand and basic chest press. And again, nobody to teach. That time in our Gymkhana library, Muscle and Fitness was the only magazine that used to be there, international magazine, Muscle and Fitness, and they were all Arnold and Joe Wieders and all the big guys from that time, Ronnie Coleman and all of that. So we used to read best exercises for arms, best exercises for chest, because there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube, so who's going to really teach you?
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to go into the gym till we were 18, so 15, 16, you kind of have to do it yourself. And started doing it, and the body changed, and then school got over, and my dad took me to the gym and got me to, register, and I was like, oh my God, this is where I belong. And that's where it kind of all started, got better. And then, of course, because of genetics or because of swimming, because of the sport, my body started changing quite quickly. And people used to, my friends, my brother and all of them used to ask, oh, what are you doing? I want to train with you today. So without knowing, I was already kind of into the profession that I am today. And then I went to Australia. I was actually went there to study animation. Didn't really work out. I was like, nah, this is not something I want to do. So I quit animation and started doing all sorts of odd jobs till I started working for Fitness First in sales. And we Indians are amazing at sales, right? We can literally sell you anything. And I was really good at sales. I remember making people literally cry. Good crying, from the emotional aspect. And they would buy the membership, but of course when they go home, they realize what they've done, they come back the next day, they cancel it. So I didn't get the commission on that, but I was, my gym manager was actually quite proud of this wholesale. Anyways, did that for a year, and then Fitness First was about to open up in India. So I got to know about it. I said, you know what? I know the sales part of it. Now there's the personal training side of it. So if I want to manage gym, I didn't even think about personal training. I said, if I want to manage the gym, from a corporate perspective, then I should know both the aspects of the gym. So I told this to my gym manager. She was quite happy with it. She said, okay, fine. You know what? The gym will actually pay for your personal training. So they paid, it was some $3,500, which they paid for. Again, I didn't pay. So, God has honestly been too kind. They paid for it. I did my personal training course. I started working as a personal trainer. And the first client that I took, I got paid like with $50 for the hour. And I was like, oh my God, I'm actually getting paid for something that I love and I've been doing all my life.
So cool.
So that went on, and literally then there was no looking back. Then it was like, you know what? I'm not going back into sales and all of that. This is what I want to do. And it just started getting better, and here we are today.
Wow. So good. And it was, and I can see you had a special relationship with your father.
Dad and mom, I keep telling them thank you, because somewhere they were supportive of everything. So even if I wanted to go study abroad or whatever it was, even when I told them that I'm going to quit animation, she's like, it's just been a year. What are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But this is not what I want to do. That I know for sure. She said, well, okay, do what you want. So I think somewhere having that approval that, okay, we are there if things go wrong, but this is your life, so do. I think that is very important for parents and kids to you need to let the child fall or fail. Like I told her, I said, you know what, if I fail because of the choices that I've made, I know that I have only me to blame. Yeah. And you can't blame yourself for too long. You'll be okay with it and you'll move on. But the minute, if I fail because of somebody else, then that regret will always be there. It was you. If you didn't stop me or if you didn't let me go, then I would have been somewhere. And that just spoils relationships. So letting your children somewhere, of course, you got to be, careful of what they want to do or guide them a little bit, but allowing them to do what they want so they've been super supportive. Like I said, mom used to take me for all the competitions. Dad used to take me. He had no reason to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Why he was doing that?
I think because, again, like I said, because of his upbringing and everything, he was an African, a lot of rawness in him, nature in him. He was active. He loves sports. So he's like, why not? So he used to wake me up, and if I didn't wake up, he used to put a bucket of water on my face and everything, wake me up. And then we used to go, and he used to enjoy. So while we were swimming, he used to swim his laps and he used to do his thing. So I think somewhere it all kind of worked perfectly. Yeah. So parents, yeah, definitely. Mom and dad both have played an important role in who I am today.
So good. I'm looking at your tattoos. How many tattoos do you have?
Oh, I can't count because it's all kind of continuous, goes all the way to the chest and to the legs and everything. So a little hard, but it all started one by one and then kind
Which
of
one is the first one?
So the first one I got over here, and it's actually a Native American. So when I was 18, I was going to get a tattoo, and I first thought of a Rottweiler. And my mom's like, you're not getting a dog on your arm. Why a Rottweiler? So I said, okay, fine. Then I said, I want a portrait. That's basically what I wanted. So then I started doing a little bit of looking up and research, and I saw Native Americans, just because of their features and the wrinkles, and it's an old guy. It's not a young Native American. So it's an old guy, and it's a Cherokee tribe. Geronimo was the guy. So I got his tattoo done. And because of who I am today, everyone actually thinks that's Lord Shiva. They're like, oh my God, that's Shiva, that's Mahadev. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I don't tell them that's Native American anymore. I said, so I'm like, so Vrinda's like, can you imagine? Your tattoo is the same.
Yeah.
It's a Native American. But because of the kind of personality that you are and the energy that you are putting out, people just happen to think that's Shiv. Doesn't look like Shiv from any angle. And I know that. But people just kind of feel that. So I'm like, great. Shiva, that's fine. No problem.
It's something that you did. So you changed your name. But what what I'm curious about is in that process, you had your original name tattooed.
Correct.
Right? And then you had to cover that. How was that process for you? Because a tattoo is part of your identity,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And that is something that you think it's forever. And then somehow it was not forever. Tell me about that journey. What did you learn from that journey?
So you said it, it was a part of my identity.
Yeah.
So Dheepesh was an identity, a personality who was partying 5 days a week, alcohol, drugs, all of that. Nice kid, never hurt anyone, never fought on any of that, but something which was not in sync with life. Rather than sleeping at sunset, he was sleeping at sunrise. So things like that. And people can say, so what? There's nothing wrong in partying. There's nothing wrong in partying. I've done it for almost 10 to 15 years of my life, no judgment, but it's not who I wanted to be. So when the whole transition began, I told Vrinda, I said, if I let people call me Dheepesh, they are reaffirming that personality, that identity. So I need to get rid of that identity to build a new one, because otherwise people will not be able to see. So she said, fine, what do you want to do? I said, first I want to get that name covered. So I got it covered up and it went away. And then she's like, well, what are you going to call yourself? I said, we'll see. Even she said, actually I asked her, I said, oh, so now that is gone, people can't say A, O, hello, there has to be a name. So she said, don't rush into it, it'll come.
Nice.
And that's where one day we were doing push-ups in the gym, and I think the chants of Shiva were playing in the background, and Vrinda had already got the tattooed on her arm as well, and the word Shivohaam came in my mind. So I said, all right, this is what I'm going to call myself. But it was all a green tick when my Sadguru, he approved of it. So we were sitting in his ashram, and this was very new. So he said, what's your name, buddy? So I looked at Vrinda and I'm like, should I say the old one or should I say the new one? She said, say the new one. I said, Gurunath, it's Shivohaam. But wasn't your name something else before? I mean, he knows everything. He knows past, present, future, everything. So I said, yes, Gurunath, it was Dheepesh, and then I didn't want to, so I took up this new name. Keep it. It's a nice name. So when he gave the green tick, it was like, all right, you know what, it's done. And then in the gym, anyone who called me by my previous name had to do 10 burpees. And they had to write on the board, his name is Shivohaam. His name is Shivohaam. I didn't even respond. I told my mom, she's like, but son, this is your name since so many years. How can I just change? I said, you have to try.
Yeah.
I said, if you call me by my previous name, I'm not going to respond.
Yeah.
It took her some time to digest it, because of course parents have given you that name and suddenly you've dropped that name and all of that. So it took a time, but now it's all sorted. My brother took the longest time to adjust as well. He's also fine. So now now of course the new people who are coming into my life anyways don't know.
Yeah.
So it's easier for them. Some of the school friends and everyone, still every now and then a slip of tongue, the old name comes out, but that's okay.
And in that period, it still was 10 to 15 years that you were into partying.
Correct.
And alcohol and drugs. When was the moment that something started shifting and you started asking deeper questions that this is not right?
In Australia, I used to go out drinking or partying, and I used to be The last one out of my friends, they all used to go home. I used to be the one up till 6, 7 in the morning. And when I come back home, there was always that little emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I even started going to movies alone, and I used to go for dinner alone. And that aloneness kind of felt nice. But I didn't know what questions to ask. Because I've never read any book. I've never spoken to anyone. I've never, heard of the word spirituality. So I don't know what to ask. Like, is there a deeper purpose? People ask that question now because it's all over. But at that time, I didn't know what to ask. So kind of went on with the flow and just felt like, okay, something is missing. I don't know what it is. Then I came to India, and that's when I met Vrinda. And after meeting her, and then so she had a studio, a wellness studio, where I used to conduct TRX and CrossFit classes. So before the class, I used to go and sit over there because she had really nice coffee. And coming from Australia, coffee was like amazing. I loved coffee at that time. So she used to make a nice cappuccino, and we used to talk. And all she would talk about was spirituality. All she would talk about was Shiva. And she would talk, and she'd get emotional. She'd get teary, which I get now. But she asked me one day, she's like, why do you sit over here and listen to all this? I said, I don't know. I don't understand it. I have nothing to share. But somewhere it feels right. Somewhere it feels good. And I think that kind of triggered the whole thing, and it kind of went on, and the wheel started moving, and it just started from there. I think that I again didn't ask any question. Why? What's the purpose of life? Because soon after that, she had given me the book Autobiography of a Yogi. And she said, someday you will read it. Maybe not now, but keep it. And one day I was passing from her office, and I saw our Sadhguru, his photo. Striking. I mean, long white hair, beard, but face like something different. I said, I want to meet him. Can I meet him? She said, not now. First read the book. I said, book now? You've given me that book 2 years back. Where am I going to go find it? She said, no, find it, read it, and then I will take you to meet him. Because Gurunath, his actual name is Yogi Raj Siddhanath Gurunath. He is a Kriya Yoga master. Only living Kriya Yoga master. So that's the practice, the same practice in Autobiography Yogi, same practice is the one that he teaches. So she said, I'll take you to him once you read the book. First get some context. See if this is something that you want to get into. It's not just you go and meet a Sadhguru for the heck of it.
Yeah.
I said, fair enough. So I went home and I started looking, and I lifted up the place where usually books are kept, and it was right on top. I was like, what are the chances? I said, okay. I took the book. I had an event in Delhi the next day. I went there, and from there I booked a flight to Ladakh, and I went for a week, and I just stayed there for a week. I found this cafe, beautiful cafe on the rooftop with the Himalayas in the front.
Wow.
Just sat there from morning to night, drinking, eating, and reading the book. I read that book. I came back. I said, okay, I've read the entire book. Now I want to meet. She said, okay, fine. So then she made me meet Gurunath, and that's where literally the spiritual journey started, because then he spoke everything. First time I'm hearing the words consciousness, supraconsciousness, and nothingness, and my mind, I'm like, is this what spirituality is? I mean, if this is, it's going way above my head. I can't make sense of anything. Samadhi, and I said, what are all these words? Like when Gurunath was speaking and people were asking him questions, I'm like, what? Like, are they just putting words together? It didn't make any sense. But of course, slowly, as you keep hearing it, as you keep practicing, you then start to understand what he actually means. And then everything sounds just familiar. Then sounds everything like it was meant for you. Wow. So I had a few questions, but I never really had questions. I'm the kind of person, you tell me this is what you need to do, this is what you need to follow, this is how many reps, how many sets you need to do, and I will just do it. Then I don't care what questions, why. I need to trust you, and you need to tell me what to do. And then, so even with Gurunath, it's the same thing. You've already spoken. I don't need to question you anymore. You've given me a practice. It's what I will do. Whether I have an experience or no, it doesn't matter. You've given me something, I'll do it. And that's about it.
What was one of the questions that helped you the most, that you ask yourself in that journey?
I think now we keep asking ourselves, so of course, when you're alone and when you see things or hear things, you wonder about them. But the good thing is that when you wonder, you actually have the ability to answer it yourself.
Nice.
So a simple thing, me being a celebrity fitness coach, there are other celebrity fitness coaches who I've known in my life, and everyone's doing something amazing. Something that you also maybe wanted to do. So you look at their posts or you hear about it, and somewhere it comes, I wish I. But straight away, the answer comes, I'm actually happy for him. Because when you understand past life karam, when you understand that you literally get what you deserve, you will never get anything in life which you don't deserve, and you will always get things based on how much and when. Then you realize that person who's training whoever, or is at whatever stature, or whatever it is, whether he's earning $1 billion, whether he's roaming around in a Porsche or a Ferrari, whether he's training the Ambanis, it doesn't matter. He deserves it. He's done something in this life or past life that is allowing him to be there. He's not God's favorite child. He's just reaping the benefits of what he's basically done. And once you understand that you always get what you... So we are all literally doing and getting the consequences, facing the consequences of actions that we've either done in this life or past life. Now, this life, I don't know, we're too young for that, maybe. So definitely something from the past life that you've done, you're reaping the benefits of it. And once you understand that, life becomes so simple, because then you're like, then there's no jealousy, there's no competition, there's no envy. You actually feel happy for yourself and you feel happy for others. You stop asking the questions, why not me? Or why me? Of course because somewhere you've, done certain things that are getting you on this road. It's as simple as that. So I think that is literally, I feel, one thing that has helped me just be free of thinking too much. Because everyone's literally just living their consequence. Whether it's by fluke or hard work. And someday that might run out, someday it might not run out, but they are getting exactly what they deserve.
Yeah.
And once you come to terms with that, trust me, life is beautiful then.
Yeah.
Everything. And when you look back, you can see, oh yeah, everything has flown or moved literally the way it should have. And you are exactly where you were meant to be. It cannot be any other way.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. It's having an abundance mindset.
Yes.
Not scarcity mindset.
Always.
Yeah.
And that's what Vrinda also teaches. I mean, the first rule of manifestation, whether you want to manifest money, career, health, relationships, is start to feel abundance. Because only then can you get. If you're always feeling, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough this, I don't have enough biceps, then it's always going to be that way. Then you're never going to be able to attract the energy that is going to give you what you want.
Yeah.
So abundance is, I think, literally, you need to feel that. But I think it's a practice. So I think in the last 10 years or 12 years of the whole spiritual unfoldment, meeting my Sadguru, talking to Vrinda every day, discussing these things, it's literally a continuous practice. Because the minute your mind starts wavering, you need somebody to, hey, come back. And most people don't have that. They don't have that. And if they do, they grudge it. Hey, stop nagging me. So you need to be okay with being told when you're not doing something right.
Yeah. But what I like is, like, even you said that you were in Australia and feeling a bit lost, but you were seeking for answers. You were.
I was definitely seeking. I just didn't know what I was seeking.
Yeah. But then it came to you. Like Vrinda said, it's like when the student is ready, the master will come.
Always,
right?
always.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, like our Gurunath keeps saying, he's literally like, He's literally like the magnet.
Yeah.
The disciples are like the iron filings. The minute you come a little bit close to that magnetic field, boom,
Yeah.
then you have no other choice but to be attracted towards it.
Yeah.
So I think literally that's it's all about timing.
Yeah.
Like it's like when they ask what's the most amazing thing about a joke, it's timing. if it's said at the wrong time in the wrong place, it's not going to be that funny.
Yeah.
So I think everything is about the right timing, and who knows it better than the universe? We
Yeah.
don't. The universe knows when you're ready for what, how much. Because when people ask, when I train coaches and everything, I tell them timing is everything. I said, imagine if you were maybe of a reckless age, 23, 24, how we've all been, and suddenly success hit you. It could be destroying, devastating, because you wouldn't know what to do. And there are so many cases of it.
Yeah.
So many cases of child prodigies and success that have later on lost the plot because they didn't know how to handle it.
True.
So always ask, whenever you're asking the universe, whenever you're praying, just ask that, give it to me when the time is right. You know when the time is right. And I think that's what I especially, Vrinda, we do that always. We say, this is what I would like, but I surrender this to you. Now
Right.
you do what you need to do and give it to me when you feel it's right. And if it's not, because so many times we wish for something and it's not meant to be, and then we're like, oh my God, I wish I didn't. So sometimes the wish is granted. It happens. And then when it is, you're like, oh my God, I wish I didn't. Because again, as a human being, we are too limited. We don't know what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. Like when I look back, my entire journey is literally me just doing what I needed to do, which was training people. And it took me like 2 weeks before coming back to India, after I have selected a place, my friend calls me up and says, I can't give you the place anymore because there was some issues with the partners. I'm like, I have sold everything. I sold my bike, I sold my clothes, everything's gone. What am I going to do? I said, the only thing to do is let's go back. We'll see what to do. So came back, client base was already there because I'd come and done a boot camp before that. So I already had 50 people, 50, 60 people. So 2 months I trained them in my building, 2 months I trained them on a friend's terrace, 2 months in Kharjum Khana. Then I trained them on the road, on bandstand. We used to be 50, 60 people in the morning, sometimes in the evening, running up and down that slope, and nobody really knew what CrossFit was all about. Nobody knew functional training. We were doing it. People were turning up. It was great, without a gym. Then people said, okay, sir, please find a gym. Then I found another place. 2 days before that place was about to open, it shut down because it was a basement and the BMC, somebody had complained, so they came and shut the place down. I'm like, like 9 months. I'm like, I was better off in Australia, living right opposite the beach and the coast and a sports bike. I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
But I asked that thing to myself in a very funny way. It was not like, oh my God, why have I come here? Life was better than, no. It was like, what the hell? Literally 2 weeks later, when we were at a friend's terrace and we were still wondering what to do now, my friend calls up and says, it's ready.
Wow.
And that place we had for 10 years. That place was special. Every single celebrity came to that place, right from Aamir Khan, Ranbir Singh, Sonakshi Sinha, Jacqueline. I mean, you named the celebrity, they were there. Athletes, everybody, 10 years. And it was literally in a chawl. Outside that place, I'm not kidding, outside that place, there were drug addicts, there were beggars, there was everybody, but no one cared. And in the 10 years, when I used to make them run down that street, girls used to run, women, men, whatever, nobody was harassed even once in that kind of crowd. People were drunk and roaming around and drugged, but nobody ever disrespected anybody over there. That place was special, literally. So everything just happened. We just have to try not to interfere.
Love. Yeah.
You just literally do what you're supposed to do, which is your work, and things will... Of course, there will be moments where you'll wonder, what the hell? Why am I doing this? And that's normal because you're human. But besides that, if you just do what you need to do, opportunities will come, hurdles will be, moved out of the way, things will happen, but it happens in the right time. So I think timing is literally everything.
Yeah, and it's also building on that. It's about being fully focused on the present and trusting that what you are doing is the right thing, and then be patient. Then the right opportunities will come. Being fully present, which is what you did.
And I think a lot to do is with what the conversation we were having before is that having something that you're passionate about. Because then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Yes, money matters and all of that, name, fame, all of that matters. Who doesn't want it? But when you're passionate about it and you wake up every morning thinking, oh, I love going to my job, I love my job, other things don't disturb you so much. Then, like you said, about being in the present, being patient, all of that somewhere naturally just comes because you love what you do. Because there's no distraction. You're like, you know what? Forget it. Things will keep happening. I want to train. Okay, there have been times when there was no light in the gym. We've lit a candle. So it was a garage space, literally a garage space. We were on the ground floor, so there was no light. I remember one day. So I brought my car around, turned on the headlights. So there was light in the gym. There was candle lights. There were so many times that there was no water. Something or the rain dropping, we had buckets all around, but people still did what they had to do. Everything disturbs you and it should, for a very small amount of time.
Yeah.
If it literally takes over, then that's the problem. And literally, I honestly believe, like you said, just keep doing what you need to do. Everything will happen in its time. But people are, I think, not patient enough.
True.
And it's not their fault. Today, because of social media, Instagram and everything, technology, and we've become like that. Wow, we remember the time of the modems. It used to take forever to bloody connect to the internet. It used to first ring for like 20 minutes and then, disconnected. Then again you press it and then finally it connects. Today it's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And if literally for 5 seconds the movie that you're watching starts buffering, you're like, oh my God, call the Wi-Fi guy, call the internet guy. What's happening? We ourselves have become that way in certain matters. Okay, theek hai. I mean, then you kind of got to look after yourself. But in other aspects, patience is definitely needed.
Yeah, and also I think people, they have trouble dealing with discomfort and pain.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of times, that's where the solution is, is when there's discomfort.
Correct.
There's something there.
Correct.
And if we lean into that,
Correct.
that's when magic happens. Yeah.
I was watching this superhero movie. I love superhero movies. And in that, the villain actually says, so his apprentice says something to him. He's like, oh my God, there's a crisis. And he's like, no. Every crisis is actually a solution, an opportunity in disguise. Because even from work perspective, I think even if you look back at your life, if a problem didn't occur, it would not bring out an option for a solution, a new opportunity. So somewhere discomfort is needed. You need to be uncomfortable sometime.
Yeah.
Because I think that friction actually makes you stronger, makes your character a little bit more stronger, where you can withstand something or the other in life. And I think that is what's missing today in a lot of the youth, is that everything is so comfortable. And I mean, come on, we all like comfort. I mean, there are things which I like, and Vrinda keeps telling me, you are too used to comfort. Get over it. And she says that, yes, it strikes. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, so what? There's no hot water. So what if the hot water is only there for 10 seconds? Get over it. It's bloody hot. It's just water. It's a shower. Get over it. So discomfort is needed to build some strength in your character. I mean, think about it. If friction didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to walk. You'd just slip every single time.
Yeah.
So friction is needed to, keep something up and keep something moving. It's very much needed. And that's why I think some of the treatments to, even when it comes to fitness and rest and recovery, the whole thing about fasting, the whole thing about cold, is that because our body has certain self-defense mechanisms, and they only get engaged or activated when there is threat, when there is discomfort, like fasting. The reason why people end up doing 2 days and 3 days of fast is to activate the phase called autophagy, which is where the cells literally eat up all the dead proteins and the dead matter, and you feel good. Same thing, cold. Cold does the same thing. It triggers self-defense mechanisms in the body. And if that didn't happen, then your body would just kind of go on the way it is without healing itself from inside. So clearly it's there in nature. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. So it's there in nature as a concept. And we should use it every day, I feel, to a certain degree. No one's saying to go and lie down naked on ice. No one is saying go walk on fire. But be okay with a little bit of heat. Be okay with, and that's why sauna is also there, because sauna activates certain kind of proteins in the body, which again help in pro-anti-aging. So discomfort is necessary, and you can build on it, small amounts.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, I'm really inspired by your journey. I love your journey, how your sense of adventure, going to Australia, trying animation, didn't work, and then how you didn't a bit lost, but then you found your way and you connected, then with your guru, with Vrinda, and then that opened up a new life for you, and also brought you to work with a lot of celebrities, right? So now I'm going to ask you a behind the scenes of a celebrity. He's already looking for me. Oh my God, what is he going to ask?
Now we all know what you're going to ask.
When a celebrity comes to you, they have a goal, right? And then you work on a process, a plan with them. Do you have any story where the plan didn't go as per what you have planned initially?
It's a very funny, it's a very interesting quote. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You can always, you can always prepare for the worst. You always hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And somewhere, if you are a professional and dealing with things, then from experience you get better. So maybe the first few celebrities that I worked with, maybe it didn't work exactly how we wanted to, but somewhere you learn that from the process, you learn that from experience, that because again, when it comes to body transformations and everything, we need to understand that every single body is completely unique. Every single person behaves very differently to certain exercises, certain foods, supplements, everything. So what worked on one person will not work on the other person exactly the same way. So you need to be a little bit careful, understand first, of course, about who the person is, what his lifestyle is all about, what is his mental temperament, because he might not like movements or exercise routines like CrossFit. He's like, I don't want to get my heart rate up. I don't feel comfortable with that. It's not something I want to do. If it was a normal person, you'd still kind of try and convince them that that little bit is good. But with a celebrity, because listen, they're not doing it for fitness. They're doing it they're doing it professionally for a certain goal, a certain role that they have to achieve for that movie to be a success. Fitness is something that can happen much later. First, let's focus on the aesthetics, because that is important. That is why they're hiring you. So understanding what works for them and then tuning your training and nutrition to fit them rather than getting them to fit your style. Doesn't work that way. So that of course builds, like I said, with experience, you understand that when to do carb cycling, when to give more calories, when to do a deficit, when to add a little bit more cardio, when to add some more weights, what exercises does this person really enjoy. Because at the end of the day, training is literally so simple. It is not rocket science. people have been doing it since the time of Arnold and before that. And they did very simple movements. A bicep curl, a bench press, a fly, shoulder press, squat, deadlift. Today there are 10,000 variations to each and every exercise. The muscles are the same.
Yeah.
Where they attach, where they start is all the same. That it doesn't need to be complex and complicated. So the minute you understand that and you understand what your client actually likes, because at the end of the day, if he doesn't enjoy training, you're not going to reach your goal. He's not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy. Doesn't work. So all this little bit background research is very important to understand your client. And then, because you're a professional and you know how to work things out, you can start doing similar stuff. And trust me, even if they don't like CrossFit, you can get them to like it by giving it to them slowly without telling them in very small doses until they turn around and go like, is this CrossFit? Have I been doing CrossFit for the past 1 month? And you're like, yeah. They're like, actually not that bad.
Yeah.
But you can't introduce something to them in a big dose and expect them to be okay. Small things at a time, small changes at a time.
You know what I like is you don't have the mindset of one size fits all, right?
Never.
I like because I mean it's everyone likes more things and dislikes other things. But if you can have a balance between what your goal, where you know where the goal is, and what your client likes, then you match it, and then he enjoys the journey, and it's easier to achieve the goals.
Absolutely.
I really like that. Yeah.
One man's poison can be another man's medicine.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Don't do keto, don't do gluten, this is bad, sugar is bad, milk is bad, chicken is bad, eggs is bad. Today every single thing is bad. There's literally a video for every single food which is bad for you.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to eat?
Yeah.
I mean, live on tablets?
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way. We Indians, our genetics are built on eating rice, milk, and we are fine. Go to Northeast, they eat only rice. Go to the South, they eat idli, dosa, everything is made of rice. They don't have any issues. Yes, see again, the reason why people have issues is not because of the food so much, but more about the emotional aspect, about stress. Stress triggers every single illness, disease there is in the body. Stress triggers it. And then, of course, depending on the kind of food that you're eating, it gets inflamed. It kind of works together. It's not just that, 40 years of my life I've had milk, now suddenly I've become lactose intolerant. How does that happen? Clearly something has triggered it.
Yeah.
It's not that the milk has changed, it's the same milk. Yes, okay, I can agree that the food is not the same today, the quality is not the same, the bioavailability of the minerals and nutrition is not the same. I completely understand. But it doesn't mean that that food is actually just suddenly become poison for you.
Yeah.
Something within you has changed, which is not allowing your body to accept it.
Yeah.
So rather than believing what YouTube is saying or what one particular influencer is saying, have this, have that, understand your body, I mean, touch wood for me, I have maybe 1.5 glasses of milk every single day, including in the chai, my protein shake and everything. I have a lot of rice every now and then. I have roti or whatever. Everything is fine. I just know that, okay, maybe some particular dal doesn't work too well, gives me too much gas, so I avoid it.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to a YouTube video saying dal is bad. No, it's fine. So there is no one size fits all.
Something which was I was very impressed with the transformation that you did with Ranbir Kapoor. I mean, he gained, I think, 11 kgs for the movie in such a short span of time. Tell us, what did you do with him? What was the journey?
See, we started gaining. Of course, we did the first movie where he had to be 70, 71. He had to have the beach body. And for that, of course, the calories were kind of not really restricted because he was always thin to begin with. But when we talk about body transformation, we talk about body composition, which means that improving muscle mass and reducing body fat. It's not so much about the weight. You can achieve the same look at a heavier weight, or you can achieve the same look at a lighter weight. It depends where your body goes. Again, everybody is different. So maybe somebody else would look exactly the same at 6 kgs heavier. Okay, he could also do that, but that was not the goal. He had to be really lean. So at 71, we didn't really worry that much about the weight, but we figured, great, on screen or in front of the camera when I'm taking your pictures, abs are looking great, chest is looking great, you can see the muscles, you're looking super lean, everything is looking good. Weight, okay, fine, let's just weigh for fun and see how much do you weigh. Okay, you weigh 71, great, no problem. But weight is not the issue.
Yeah.
It was more about how he looked, which is your body composition. And then post that, for the next movie, he had to look bigger. So of course, to look bigger, that means we have to put on weight. But now again, where is that weight coming from? It's not, he doesn't have to be a retired old man with a pot belly, that big. He just needs to be bigger in terms of muscle. So again, the kind of food, the kind of training. And it took us a good 1 year to reach the goal of 11, 12 kgs, because again, and today the reason why he is at that weight, or a little bit lesser, I think, because I'm not training him at the moment, but I know that he's looking good, he's in great shape, working for Ramayana, and he's lost around 4 or 5 kgs, but he's looking great. And the reason why he's able to do that and maintain that is because the progress was slow and consistent. When it's slow and consistent, it gives your body enough time to adapt, recognize its new normal, be okay with it, and then stay there. Then so how we normally do it is, okay, now you've gained, body's adapted, it stays there, let it stay, now we do it again. What usually happens with people is they go so drastic on their nutrition and their training that they either end up losing or gaining, but that adaptation was so fast that the body has not got time to kind of find its balance and new normal. So the minute you let go, whoop, you go back to square one. Always. So the process, even when you do weight loss, think about it. First, you need to understand yourself. How does your body respond? When is it tired? If you've done a great workout, you should not feel like going and sleeping after your workout. That means you've done something too much, or your nutrition is not on point, something was off, you've not slept well. Because if you've done a good workout, it's supposed to charge you up. The endorphins, your nervous system, everything is supposed to charge you up, not put you to sleep. So same way, when you train too much, the mind would be like, great, I feel great, but the body is actually tired. There's fatigue. Now that fatigue needs to be overcome by some kind of rest and recovery, which people don't focus on. No, I'm going to train 7 days a week. I'm going to train 6 days a week, and on the 7th day, I'll still go for a walk. No, morning I'll do this, evening I'll do that. That mind over matter is all right. It sounds okay in some cases, it's needed, but not here. Here you need to understand what works for you. Understand when you're tired, understand when you're overworking, understand when you need to rest. When your body requires food, give it at the right time. But see, all of this will only happen when there is no distraction, internal distraction in your mind. When you sleep, that's the time you rest and recover, because everything else shuts down in the body. Now, if your mind is occupied thinking, whether it's too excited about some new job, or whether it's anxious or frightened about something the next day, your mind is always thinking. You're not giving it a chance to relax. And if it cannot relax, it can't do what it needs to do, which is rest and recovery. Because then it's when you feel anxious, it's not just your mind is anxious, your entire body feels it. You feel it in your stomach. When you're sad, you feel it. Because everything is connected in the body, right? All the cells. It's not that if you feel sad, then every single cell in the body is going to feel the same way. It's all connected. So if your mind needs to relax and heal, and you need to heal and recover, not just my right arm because I've done my right bicep, but the entire body, right? So that will only happen when you can remove the distractions from your mind and let it do what it needs to. So when it comes to understanding, why do people overeat? We're not talking about psychological issues.
Yeah.
But when do people overeat? Now, there are two hormones in the body. There's ghrelin and there's leptin. Ghrelin makes you feel hungry. Leptin tells you that you're satisfied. Simple. They are doing what they need to do. But the signal is not going to the brain. So the signal is not going that I'm hungry or I'm too hungry, and you just overeat. Now leptin is saying, "Oi, stop, I'm done." But that signal is not going to the brain. Why? Because you're so distracted on a phone call, you're watching TV, you're having an argument. You're not focused in that moment on that plate, on that food. You're not letting yourself be.
So what are your three pieces of advice for people who want to lose weight?
So first thing you need to understand that when you're starting off as a beginner, everything needs to be very simple. See, when you think about exercise, when you think about nutrition, there's a beginner program, there's an intermediate, and there's an advanced program. So first thing that you need to do is don't do anything. Don't do any research. Because the minute you start doing research, you're going to go into the complexities of nutrition and training, and you're going to overcrowd your system. You're going to be like, and if you're not training under a professional, you're going to be like, I'm going to do that. As a beginner, you need to understand that your body is going to respond to no matter what you do, because training is a stimulus. Your body has never felt that stimulus before. So it's going to adapt. So usually what happens is you put some stress on the body, either through weight training or whatever, whether it's any kind of life, profession or anything, you put some stress on the body. The body, to get better or overcome that stress, it adapts. It becomes stronger, it becomes fitter, it becomes more smarter, intelligent, whatever it is. And that adaptation is what causes a progress, causes a new progress. So building new muscle tissues, building new cells, all of that. So stress needs to be, now because you're a beginner, you've never encountered that stimulus or stress before. So even just 10 bicep curls is going to cause some kind of stress on the body, where the body will have to adapt and cause a progress. So you don't need to go into the complexities and the more advanced training protocols. So as a beginner, first, don't do anything. Just follow the most simple way of eating, calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Don't go into keto, don't go into intermittent fasting, nothing. Just simple deficit. Eat a little bit less than what you're already doing and start training on a very simple training program. Simple bench press, simple biceps, squats, back, the most basic exercises you can. Once you've done that and you've got to a level where, see, because you also need to understand that the initial progress is not coming from the muscle. It's coming more from the neurological system, because for you to even get that bar to balance and do 10 repetitions very smoothly, making sure you're using the right muscles to do that movement. So if you're doing a chest and you go, oh, why am I feeling it more on my shoulders or my back is cramping? You're not doing it correctly. So the first thing you do is with an empty bar, even if you just mimic the movement, that neurological change itself is a stress, which causes that muscle to get engaged. When you talk about the mind-muscle connection, we're not saying that lift 100 kgs to feel that connection. You can feel that connection without a weight. If I tell you to do a bicep curl right now and focus on nothing else but the bicep, you can do that because your mind is connected here and you can feel it. So when you do it with the right form, that neurological stress which is caused on the body automatically causes progress. So you will see progress. Now once you've done it with an empty bar, now when you've put a little bit of weight on, and you can go, and then after 2 or 3 months when you've put a little bit more weight on, you're like, okay, good, my form is great, I can do 20 repetitions without my form breaking, it's super comfortable, I know I'm ready for the next level. That's when you can advance a little bit more, and then after that, a little bit more. So it all starts in
Yeah.
phases. So once again, being patient. For you're gonna put a seed in the ground. You're gonna cover it up. You're gonna put some water. We all did it in school, where we had a jar and we put a small cotton thing on it and we put some seeds and then gave it a little bit of water and kept it in sunlight. And every day we'd look at it. Why is it not growing? Why is it not growing? And then suddenly one day you can see like something sprout of it. Patience, no? Everything has its time. Here also, imagine you're trying to build muscle. The number of things that have to go right inside the body, right from inside within the cells to the hormones to chemicals, and everything is working to build something out of absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. So be patient. It will happen. But in beginners, it will happen much faster because it's a new stimulus. So first thing, follow the most simplest program that you can under good technique, good form, and be patient. Second thing, hire a professional. Today there are professionals and you can get them in all different budgets. If budget is an issue, you can get them from whatever basically suits your budget. You can get somebody, because you need to understand these are people like myself whose job is to study fitness, study exercise. Whichever gym you go to, always observe the trainer. Oh, I like that trainer. He looks good. No, that's not how you're going to get him. Maybe try and see how he's training somebody else. Maybe try and see how he trains himself. Today, Instagram is there. You can check out his profile on Instagram and see how his technique. You will know when you see good technique and bad technique. Somebody who, and this is what I tell all the coaches, before you start to instruct, first do it yourself. Because this is something that I've learned from Vrinda, is that when you speak from experience, it has weight.
Yeah.
When you speak from a script or a book, people can tell. So even for a trainer, observe the trainer. How is he training with a client? Because that's how you don't want somebody who's going to upset you every single session and not behave the right way. So observe the trainer, get a trainer, because that's their profession, this is what they do, and they will only help you.
I think also today, I think there's a lot of hype in terms of a lot of jargon, big words like biohacking and a lot of big words. But I like what you say is like, go back to the basics. It's simple. It's about movement. It's about nutrition. It's about rest,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And don't overdo it, right? That's your
absolutely.
Your advice, and make it simple. I really like that.
Simple, literally everything. At the end of the day, life is, with all its issues and all its problems, it is still simple.
Yeah. So now we're coming to the end, and so for me, I mean, going in my fitness journey, I struggled with discipline and motivation, but I never stopped. I always trying, go to the gym. Now I have a coach, for example. I go 4 times a week, and it's working for me.
Correct.
But there's a lot of people that struggle with motivation and discipline, right? And actually, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo also said in one interview, he said, like, do you think I like to go to the gym? I don't like, but I go. He has that discipline. So for people who struggle with discipline, what is your advice for them?
See, when you talk about motivation and when you talk about discipline, when you're 16 years old and you want to get a little hyped up and motivated, you watch Rocky and all of that, it works. Later in life, it's not about that. Later in life, it's literally about how do you want to feel? How do you want to grow old? That is my motivation. Weight loss is a byproduct of how it's going to make me feel. When people say, when I used to smoke, I didn't take any nicotine patch, I went cold turkey. People say you can't go cold turkey, I did. Again, I'm a different person. Vrinda was helping me out with all her breath work and breathing practices, affirmations and everything. And it worked. I was literally standing in the balcony one day, and halfway through the cigarette, it just didn't taste the same. I'm not kidding. The taste literally changed. Wow. And I said, this doesn't taste nice. And I threw it, and that was 12 years back. I could stand the next day next to a smoker and not wanting to smoke.
Wow.
Of course, a lot of people can't do that. I don't expect people to do that, but it's possible. But somewhere my motivation also at that time was, I'm training people. I don't want, so I used to smoke only in the night, never during the day, because I'm like, I'm training people. I don't want people to smell smoke. I'm a coach. Again, then the next step was, I'm being a hypocrite. I'm drinking, I'm smoking, and then here I'm telling people to be fit. So that was again a motivation to stop. So my point being, when you can prioritize and justify what you want to feel and what you want to do, then you don't need motivation. If I can prioritize me growing old in a healthy way, with a straight spine, walking on my own 2 feet, and probably doing some squats and push-ups even at that age, I will do everything that is needed today to get me to that point. I don't need to watch any videos or listen to any motivational speech, because I know where I want to be. And I can prioritize that, I can justify that. So same with people. When they say, sir, I don't have motivation, take 5 minutes to ask yourself, is this how you really want to feel for the next 5 years and worse after that? If you won't say yes straight away, like this is not how I want to feel, you'll straight away wear your shoes and go to the gym, or you'll go for a walk.
Yeah.
So there always has to be something bigger, which is more heavier, more weightier, which has more emotional weight than you not wanting to exercise. Simple. Like you said, Cristiano Ronaldo, he doesn't want to be, he just goes. The other thing I tell people, somebody came to me and she said, sir, but I want to, but I don't like it. I said, simple. I said, do you like brushing your teeth? Who likes brushing their teeth? Nobody likes brushing your teeth, but you do it because it is necessary. It is going to keep your teeth, your gums healthy, oral hygiene. Simple. So why do you need to like training? Give it 20 minutes, give it 30 minutes. No one is saying be there for 2 hours. No one is even saying be there for an hour. 15 minutes. Science has proven, research has proven that even if you train twice a week or thrice a week, 30 minutes with weights, a little bit of cardio, you've achieved your goal to feel good. Aesthetically, you might not get where you want, you might need more work, but to feel inside all the things that muscle actually ends up doing for you, 3 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes is enough. So I said, can you do that? Can you do 15 minutes every single day, 20 minutes every single day without having to worry, I like it or I don't? And this is where you said that discomfort.
Yeah.
People wanting to feel too comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, get up and do it, because you know it's good for you, but you don't like it. So what? Forget your likes.
Yeah.
Just do it. Do it for 20 minutes. And this is where, if you have somebody to hold you accountable, like a coach, give you a program and say, all right, 20 minutes, this is what you're going to do. Forget about you liking it. This is a task. Do it. Yes, a bonus out of it if you end up enjoying it, and you will, because you will see results. You will feel good. You can't stop your body from feeling good after a workout. You're like, oh, I did 15 minutes. I felt really nice. I was sweating. It felt really good. I was really energetic afterwards. You can't hide those emotions. Then why won't you do more of it? We all are talking about dopamine. We're all talking about all of this. So this is, you need to find dopamine even in the process. It's not, 15 minutes is not going to get you to your goal, but the process of doing it is what should release that dopamine. Without knowing it, I used to drink coffee, but I never enjoyed the coffee as much as I enjoyed the process of making the coffee. cleaning everything around first, putting the beans in one place, putting the water in one place, the machine, one thing at a time, very, very nicely and neatly. It was that process. And then, of course, the first smell of the coffee feels good. And then you're like, you have it, you're like, it doesn't taste as good as it smells. Weird. I wish it tasted the same. But it was a process. So if you can find the joy and that feeling of dopamine in the process, then it won't matter.
You work with a lot of celebrities. Like, what was one thing that you learned from working with them?
I would say they are amazingly disciplined. Because they know what's at stake. It's not just their transformation, but the movie is supposed to start on a particular date, and there's an entire team of 500 people whose livelihood depends on that movie. So if the movie doesn't start, they don't get paid. So it's much bigger than just the movie. It is the people behind. And a good actor, a good celebrity understands this. And I've seen people, even on their worst days, having the worst headaches or not feeling good, they still turn up for the shoot and they do what is required because they understand if I don't, there's going to be quite a bit loss that will, somebody who's not supposed to incur that is incurring because of him. So they're super disciplined even when it comes to their workout, on time, punctual, 5 minutes here and there, and it's fine. And they are busy people. They've got meetings. So every now and then they do run a little bit over, but that's fine. They communicate. And that's all I ask for, communicate. Whether it's clients, whether it's anybody. If I've sent you a message and I've sent you, it's not like I randomly turn up and say, hey, Rodrigo, how's it going? I probably won't reply to that. It's like there's nothing. But I know I'm in conversation with you, I'm in collaboration with you, we're doing some work together, and then you say something and I don't reply, that's weird. So communication is number one, and they're great at that. Discipline, like I said, is amazing. Their value for time is great. Touch wood, at least the people that I've worked with, I can't talk about everybody, but the ones that I've worked with, amazing value of time, respect. They know how to respect you. And that also, I think, comes when you learn how to respect yourself. I keep telling coaches, firstly, I tell them, you are not a trainer. You are a coach. Trainer is someone who's just making them do bicep curls and this, but you are a coach. Unless and until you don't change that perspective of yourself, your client is not going to see that. You want to be a professional? Behave like a professional. Don't behave like the friend. After a certain years or a certain time, maybe you've earned that, but there's always a line that you don't cross. So always behave professional, behave like a coach. So respect is something that they have for you as a professional. And they're super nice people to work with. Like everyone keeps asking me, who's your favorite? I said, I've had such good times with each and every one of them, whether it's Mr. Aamir Khan, Ranbir Kapoor, Mr. Bachchan. I'm training Ram Charan at the moment. Jacqueline, we've known Jacqueline for more than 10, 12 years now. She's amazing person. Arjun
What is
Kapoor.
the secret behind her success?
I think Vrinda will tell you tomorrow. No, she understands manifestation. She's a nice person. She's hardworking. And trust me, in this field, like I said, the universe will only give you so much on a plate from your past good deeds. But the future is something that you need to create. You need to make. If you don't work hard today, because whatever you had to reap, you've already got it. But now if the next 10 years you want to see something bigger, you have to work hard for it. And each and every one of, Mr. Bachchan at 82, that man, utmost respect for him. He still works so hard, shootings, meetings, training, amazing. if there's anyone you want to look up to from, from a success, and I'm not talking about financial success, I'm not even talking about name and fame, but the man, the human being that he is, the personality that he has, it's crazy. Think about it. It's so easy for somebody at 82 to put their feet up and say, I have so much, I have enough, I don't need to work. But he is on it, even till date. And all the young guys as well. Ranbir, Jacqueline, everyone who I've worked with. Amazing. I think hard work is, we will never, nothing will ever take its place. Yes, it might take you a little bit longer to see the benefits of it. Because think about it this way. Actually, it just came to me. If you're building a small house, it'll happen really fast. If you're building a 1-room, 1-bedroom studio, if you're building a 3-bedroom, it'll take you longer. If you're building a mansion, it's going to take you longer. So hard work is there in all of them. It just depends how much hard work are you ready to put in. The results will come. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. But yeah, just keep working hard. Just keep working.
So if there's one message that you want people to remember from this conversation, what it is?
Just keep working. Just work. Just do what you're good at, what you're doing, and don't stop. Like we spoke about, there will be a time you will see the benefits. Everything what you're deserving in your life will come to you, but don't stop. Because the thing is, we don't know where that limit is. We want to earn the riches like Mr. Ambani. We can work towards it. We don't know where that limit is. We don't know if we will get there, maybe way lower, or maybe we'll even cross that. We don't know, honestly. The only energy or entity that knows, it's the universe. They know, because everything is planned. But you can't say, I'm just going to work for 10 years and I want it to happen in 10 years. It's not going to happen. So I keep telling every single person, every single coach when I do the coach's workshop, is that you just keep working. I didn't know any of this. No one had predicted any of this. No one had predicted the celebrities, the name, the fame, whatever. When I was in Australia, all this doesn't even matter over there. It doesn't. You've been all around the world, professionals all around the world. It's in India that this actually matters. I mean, what were the chances of me moving to India, finding a gym, everything that happened? When you connect the dots, I had no idea that all this would happen. I just kept doing what I loved and what I was supposed to do. Things started happening. And I don't know where the line is. I'm super, yesterday I was talking to a friend, I was like, I'm actually very content. I'm very happy where I am. But that does not mean I don't have the drive and the ambition to do better. I'm just not going to chase every single minute of the hour of the day chasing that. I am going to take I'm going to take my time in the morning, my 4 hours of doing my spiritual practice, doing my manifestations, my breath work, all of that. I will do that. Nothing will come in between. I will go to the gym for my 2.5 hours. I will do all of that.
Wow.
But I will do everything else also. Whatever time is remaining, I will work. When you called, we said, you know what, let's do it. So it's not like, I have enough. I don't really need to go. It's okay. We tried to make this, even though I didn't know if I was going to be in Bombay or not. We were in conversation and we tried to make it work. It's very easy for me to say, you know what, Rodrigo, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be in Hyderabad, maybe next time. Very easy to say that. But so the drive is always there. That ambition is always there. But you're not chasing it. I think that's very important. And that can only happen when you understand that this is what you do. This is what is in your control. Just keep doing it, because everything else will happen. It will happen in its time. And if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't. It's not going to take away my sleep.
Oh, Shivohaam, it was such a pleasure. To meet you. I'm very inspired by your journey.
Thank you.
And also the way you see fitness, and I'm really inspired by that. And thank you so much for coming and
Thank you.
inspiring our
Pleasure.
audience.
Pleasure. Likewise. Thank you so much.